Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to our fifth episode of Hope on Deck. So last week I shared on my experience on my previous school life where I was bullied, and this week we want to talk more about more regarding that topic, and I have my co-host here, Gabriel. He'll be with me doing this hosting stuff because sometimes I get too crazy and he's there to calm me down or something. But yeah, and this week we invited two lovely guests, and one is Bernice and one is Janice. So let's welcome them. You can turn on your
Welcome.
camera now.
Thank you.
Hi, thank
Thank
you.
you, guys.
So maybe
Thank
can you
you.
guys like introduce yourself a little bit? Like what do you do and what?
Like a short intro.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go first. I'm Bernice and I work as a registered counselor in one of the counseling centers in Penang. So yeah, I've been in this field for I wouldn't say quite a while, but about 3 to 4 years. Yeah.
3 to 4 years.
3 to 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How about Janice?
I'm working in college as a student affairs officer, but only got myself registered recently this year. So, but basically my job, I deal with a lot of students for the last, I think, close to more than 10 years already.
A lot of experience here.
Yeah, the counseling will supplement in terms of my conversation with the students.
All right. Okay. So to start off, both of you guys like dealt with a lot of bullying cases over the years?
Hmm.
How about
Yeah.
Janice?
I don't have that much. If depends how you define bullying. All right, mine is more into the indirect and the more of cyberbullying. Because I think direct bullying will be what we deem as those physical. I don't work in a boys' school, so I wouldn't experience that. Yeah.
Okay. So,
Right. Mm-hmm.
we would like to understand because none of us would like to be bullied. So when you guys dealt with these cases, I believe that both of you have talked to both parties, both the one being bullied and also the one who is bullying the other person. So we would like to understand what are the common reasons that you find or that you gathered for reasons to be a bully at school.
Bernice, you want to go first?
Okay, I'm not sure if I might get chopped off halfway, because it doesn't sound like my internet connection is very stable now, right? But I think sometimes when we try to answer this kind of questions, we need to understand the danger of generalization, We try not to give like across the board answers because we need to make room for specific reasons. But having said that, I think what comes to mind, common reasons would be power, popularity, you're being assertive in terms of your communication. You think that that's the only way. If I bully someone, that's the only way people can hear what I have to say. It could be family problems, peer pressure, revenge, payback, or sometimes it can be also that's the only way a person knows how to communicate. Don't know any other way. Right. So I think that's that's my point of view.
Yeah. In addition to that, I think we can also say, I think a lot of cases actually comes out, the bullies themselves were actually once victims of bullying. So that was how they're being, that is their experience. So their experience tell them this is how they should react when they reach certain age. That's why they become bully at one point or another, right? And then also because in certain certain places, the bullying also takes place in terms of your appearance. You can be too pretty, and then people say that she's arrogant. That is verbal bullying. Your social status, race, and as well as your sexual orientation. The sexual orientation will happen mainly in the boarding schools.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what are the reasons for victims of bully to like not disclose their situation or what they're going through to other people? Because they might be scared of like asking for help or even approaching to you guys regarding this situation. Because for me, I am afraid of like even reaching out to my own teachers or even to my own mom. So, in your opinion, what are the reasons?
I think often enough there is, of course, the threat. There is of course there is a threat of being misunderstood, and you feel threatened, right? And of course, there's a lot of confusion because, in first place, it should not be happening, right? And so
Yeah.
sometimes it's easy for us to be like, why don't you tell your parents or your teachers? But we need to acknowledge, first of all, there is a violation of the personal space. And also, now, if this shouldn't be happening, right, then I think it just violates the core of who people are, because then how should I act? And the confusion also lies with having to struggle. Why is this happening to me in the first place? Why is this happening to me in an educational institution, college or uni or school, or even workplace sometimes? I mean, we have to admit that bullying does happen in the workplace now, right? Or even cyber bullying as well. Like, you tend to ask questions like, is something wrong with me? And then so you battle. It's not just the confusion, then there's the isolation. So when you throw in isolation and confusion, there's really a lot to deal with without the thought of like, okay, problem solving. Who should I tell? What should I do? Because a lot of it becomes internal battle and internal battle. Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree with what Bernice had said. And also, we are struggling within ourselves, and with the confusion and the space, we don't know how the others will react to us. For example, there was actually a research that was done up that they said that sometimes adults or people whom we confide to do not react in a helpful manner. Like sometimes we can say our parents will brush us off, and we feel that, okay, they're not listening, because a lot of victims, when they tell things to their parents or to their teachers, they didn't say that I was being bullied. The term was bullied was hardly used. In fact, research have actually indicated they explain a situation. So through that situation, if the person couldn't catch it, then you will just brush it off. And the outcome is, I'm not getting a support, so why should I tell? And of course, there's also certain situation like sexual abuse. It's quite, in our culture, it's a bit quite shameful. You wouldn't want to talk about it. In school, I think we would have read in the papers, there was some girls' school, in a boarding school, they were actually abusing their friends sexually. So how is that person going to tell? Like, will the teachers believe them or not? May not, because it happened in a boarding school and they expect all the girls to be good girls. So it's very difficult for a person to come forward to talk about it. As physical, we can see the proof, but if it's verbal, mental, those are very subtle signs which we will need to observe through their behaviors and the way they talk as well.
So it's like they're sharing their experience indirectly so that to like let the other person like guess whether they are experiencing bullying or not.
It's not guessing, it's just, to them, sometimes they may not really feel that it's bullying. it may feel that I don't feel good, like what Bernice said, you know, that's in yourself, you're experiencing a lot of turmoil of emotions. Is this right? You know, am I doing the right thing? And you know, is this how I should behave? Especially when we talk
Correct.
about adolescent age, that is the time that, you know, we are going up and down with our emotion. We are trying
Yeah.
to find our own identity. Yeah.
Mm. All right, all right. So so there is like a quite a number of students in our midst who are watching this, and what is your advice to those who might be a bully, who might be a victim in bullying?
Okay. So a victim, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I,
Advices to.
I I would say this, right? Understand again, there is so much shame. I think Janice really nailed down this word, shame, isolation, and confusion involved. So break that cycle of isolation. You know, but try and reach out. Not just people in authority, but like-minded people. Band together. You know, people who have if you share, right, you might find people who are actually being bullied as well, so you're not alone in that sense, you know. And
Mm.
I think second, create meaning and seek out outlets. It could be outlets in the form of music, art, sports, anything that speaks of your talents and your skills that you're comfortable with and that is unique to you.
Mm.
How
Basically,
does, can I ask something?
sure.
How
Yeah.
does someone maybe can explain more on if I gravitate towards the talents, how does that help with being a victim of bullying?
I think we need to understand this, that talents are just one form of outlets, like we say, hobbies
Outlet.
or interests, you know. And the key point, why do you want to, it's a form of reaching out. You're trying to break that cycle of isolation.
Mm.
You're trying to shift the focus off, you know, because sometimes bullying, what happens is that it can crowd out everything else in your life, you know. Of course, actively speak to somebody about it, and then also try to, what we say, reach out and know that the bullying is not everything, that's all that you see in your life. There are other things as well that you can choose to magnify. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so bullying is not everything in my life, so I can focus on other things like hobbies.
Correct, but
Yeah,
I think I want to point this out because
yeah,
it does sound very cold in that sense. I'm not saying disregard
mm,
your bullying. I'm not
yeah,
saying minimize how you feel. I'm saying,
yeah,
yes, your feelings are validated. Pay attention to them. Actively
Mm.
do that. Seek help that you need. And on the other hand,
mm,
maximize time and people in your life that matter to you, that are
mm,
a positive influence that you care about and who you know care about you. Seek that sense of security versus the isolation.
Mm.
right,
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
I think I agree with Bernice, because sometimes we think that we're alone, we think there's no support. I believe church is one of the support platform that they can go to. You know, you have
Yeah,
church,
yeah.
your youth pastor, your cell group leaders. These are the people, like what Bernice had said, who share the same, who are in your same core group. You know, you have the same like-mindedness.
right,
You know, whatever you experience in school, they would have experienced it as well. And especially
Mm.
you met seniors who are, you know, from the same school, they would be able to understand you better. Get that
Mm.
form of support.
find like-minded people and get support from them, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say I witnessed someone who is being bullied in school, but I want to help that person who is being bullied, but I am afraid that I would also be a victim of bullying. So how can I, as a student, as a friend, help that student who is being bullied without being a victim.
Are you referring to the school context or cyber context?
Uh, First, school context, because I believe cyberbullying is also quite common in this sense,
Yeah.
right?
So the how you react towards it will be very different. Like in school, I think the first thing you should do you may have to report it to the teacher, and you can also request for your identity to remain anonymous. And if it's a physical bullying that you see, then you have to take the teacher there to the incident place immediately, because after that the bullies and the victims may deny that things actually happen because they do not want to get into trouble. Either
Yeah.
one, if the bullies will get into trouble, and if the victim agreed, admit it, the victim will get into trouble with the bullies later on. There is a cycle going on in there. So you can, if it's physical, immediately take the teacher there. You can tell the teacher this is happening. You will want to remain anonymous. That's my thought, but I'm not sure how others will feel about it. Yeah, verbal is a bit difficult because by the time you bring the teacher in, the conversation is over, and the teacher is not there to witness it.
Yeah, verbal. Okay.
Yeah, verbal is quite hard. I mean, yeah, in my opinion too.
So the advice for the victim of bullying, if you've gone through verbal bullying, I think in one way or another, in school we would have been bullied verbally, like we're being called names. Those are very common. All right. How our names, like my name, I have been called names by my friends in school. So to me, it was okay. But some people will take it very negatively. So it depends on what is our resilient level. How can we resist towards all this going on around us? We can't stop people talking about us, but what we can control will be our own reaction and our own behavior.
So your advice is to control how you feel about your resilience towards.
You can't control your resilience. You have to learn to build up your resilience. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like if someone call you a name or like why is she dressed up like this? There must be a reason why this group of people target at you. So then you have to ask yourself, what this group of people say, does it matter to me? Is it so important? If it's important, that's because you want to join that group. You want to be part of that group. I mean, I think in girl sense, yes, those are verbal is very important to us. Like how we look, how the moment people comment that we are fat, we are short, it affects us mentally already.
Yeah.
So I think one thing that we need to be assured is our own identity.
Okay. Maybe I give an example. Like one, I had, if it's my best friend good friend, who I hang out with a lot, also started to like call me names. Maybe you can share your experience. How should I deal with that? Should I speak out or what? If it's like a good friend.
First place to call you name.
Bully me, yeah.
Why would your friend call you name in the first place? I'll ask you.
I don't know.
Then
we were young and
well, if it's
playful. But
so,
I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
Do you treasure that friendship?
Yes.
Then you can tell your friend off.
How should I express myself?
You will express it in a manner that you feel more comfortable. I can't teach you because
I would say this. I think sorry.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, Bernice, continue.
Oh, sorry, I just interjected because it's a little bit laggy, so sorry.
No, it's okay.
But to sort of like weigh in on Gabriel's question.
Yeah.
I think sometimes the problem why it's such a torture for us is we spend a lot of time fixating on the reasons. Why is this person calling me this? Is there something wrong with me?
Mm-hmm. Something wrong.
You know, should I change my name? Should I, we look for reasons. But sometimes we also need to understand that there is just no explanation to why people
Oh,
can be so mean. Because the
okay.
answers doesn't lie with us, it lies with them.
Nice with them. Okay.
So I would say instead of fixating on, instead of fixating of looking for the why me, I think shift your focus off, let yourself create a reason for yourself that you find acceptable. It could be funny, like, maybe don't know how to speak English properly or something, and then move forward, start building steps that you want, the way you start heading your life in the direction you want it to go. So that's why sometimes a lot of times people also find meaning in advocacy. That's how they create meaning, band together with people who have had similar experience, speak out. That's how you create meaning, like for example, just now I brought up the directly heading your life in the direction you want it to go. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. But just now Janice did mention about like telling like as a friend, when you witness your friend being bullied, you tell it to the teacher and like keep and ask the teacher to keep your identity anonymous. What if like how can I be sure that my identity is actually being kept anonymous? Because sometimes you cannot. I'm not sure about other people, but for me, sometimes I would feel that the teacher might want to like when they want to address to the bullies, they might say who actually complained this about you, something like that. So should we actually trust our teacher in keeping our identity anonymous?
Well, that is something that we have to learn. All right. I think the disciplinary teacher is one of them that we have to trust. But anyhow, that's why I say bring the teacher to the incident, let the teacher see. Then you move out. You tell the teacher, I'm reporting this to you. The teacher saw it, but if you go in and then there's nothing going on, you can't actually report it anymore already. You get me? So that's why I say it's good if it's a physical thing that's going on, the teacher saw it, you can request basically to remain anonymous because he or she will have seen the incident already. Yeah. So that is one way to keep it anonymous. I believe most of the discipline teacher will respect the confidentiality of the person who reports it.
Okay.
Even some of the school counselors too.
All right. Okay. And
I think one
also,
thing is also to bear in mind. Sorry, there are other. Sorry. I think there are other avenues to sort of like bear in mind. If let's say you personally find it very difficult to trust your teachers or the discipline teacher, or counselor. What I'm saying is, if let's say, earlier on we mentioned this, if let's say you find it difficult to trust your counselors or your school discipline teacher for whatever reason, the best thing to do is to again reach out to somebody, anybody. It could be somebody outside of the school system, just somebody you're close to. Yeah.
Okay, so reach out to somebody. As long, okay, all right. Okay. So during the giving the advice to the victims, just now Janice did mention about being assured on your identity, right? So how can we be assured of our own identity?
That is a journey of discovery.
Journey of
Okay.
discovery.
Yeah, I mean, I will speak from, I mean, since this is on a, you will be mainly to reach out to the youth, then I think it's important for us to know what is our identity in Christ. Right? There's a lot of us, we tend to forget, we are actually a child of God. So, we put God aside in this picture. When we are growing up as a teenager, we would want to be in the popular group, in the smart group, in a well-known group, the sports group. We want to have a sense of belonging.
Yeah.
And we are not in those group, and because we end up as a minority, we maybe end up as a victim of bullying. So even though people who are not so good in any of these areas, I believe that we need to know that we are a child of God. Yeah. So if that is, church is also one place for us to find our own identity, to build ourselves, because when we go out, like what Bernice and Eugene said earlier, in workplace, there's always bullying. All right. So once we are secured in our identity in Christ, a child of God, we can do all things to Christ who strengthen us, despite whatever situations that we are in. That will be the basis. But I won't say it will happen overnight, because throughout the whole adolescent age up to maybe 20, 21, we are still searching, right? We search our own identity. After we finish school, we search what is our career pathway. So it's a constant search in a life. Yeah.
True, I'm still searching. No. Just a joke. Okay.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Janice. Your identity forming is a process. Yeah.
Okay. I think last few questions. Grace?
Some of the students might think that if they tell a teacher that they're being bullied, and they might be like hated more if they knew who reported them or stuff. So as a teacher in school, or as a counselor being involved in this field, do you think that this is true? Or in your opinion, how would you tell a student to speak up if they feel that way?
Okay. I mean, speaking from someone who works with the students, right? I will actually ask them, if let's say they are the victim, okay, what do they really say and think about you? Is this how you perceive it? Sometimes when person is said word, we may perceive it negatively, and then if you think that your friends are bullying, I will ask, are they really your friends? And at the end of the day, your character and actions speaks louder than the words.
I think some of people are afraid to speak up, because if they speak up and then the bullies finds out, they will bully them even more, because some sort of a revenge towards them.
Yeah.
So is that true? Does that happen in school setting? Or what do you think about this thought?
Okay, I'll quote one example from my student. So what she did was, there were lots of rumors that was going on in college about her, and she decided that she will not allow those rumors to go on any further. She took a step forward and confront these people. It's a lot of courage, but at the end of the day, they know that they can no longer bully her verbally, because spreading rumors, gossiping, these are considered verbal bullying. And the extent of the rumors that went on when she told me was like quite shocking. Yeah. So she stood up for herself. It takes a lot of courage. It doesn't happen overnight. It took her quite a long while. Yeah. So, I mean, the support, if anyone come to you all for support, be there for them, guide them through this journey. Yeah. If anyone speak to us, all right, do not brush them aside. I think that's where a lot of them dare not come forward to share about it, because they think that whatever you're going to do for them is not going to be helpful. You know, we may not understand, but I think what's important is that we be sensitive towards their emotion. How are they reacting? You know, is it affecting them very much? Yeah. So then you gain their trust, and slowly you can guide them through the journey. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last question. Okay. So, for Janice, you dealt a lot with cyberbullying, online bullying, right? So,
Not really.
but you've
I mean,
dealt
but it's a thing.
before.
It's a thing now. Yeah.
So, how do you tell your students when they're dealing with these stuffs?
You mean they're bullied cyberly?
Yes.
Okay. I think the current generation, they have a lot of profiles on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, IGs, right? So question I will ask them, you know, why you put your profile on public? When anything that's on public, you are actually exposing yourself to people stalking you, people commenting on what you're doing. Any post that you make, if I don't like you, I will sure make a comment. Right? So I think if you do not want those things to happen, you may want to look into putting your profile on a private mode.
Or limiting your circle of people who sees your social media.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, basically, you know, with Insta, you start off with private, and after that, you can allow whoever you want, permit them to follow you. Anything that's on public, you are actually exposing yourself to unforeseen and unknown bullying. Sometimes I have seen also cases like you make a comment and people do not like your comment in a public post.
Yeah.
They will say, why are you saying this? And it can affect a person.
Yeah.
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 So if you do not want that kind of cyberbullying to take place, my suggestion is cut it off.
Cut it off. Okay.
Well, that's what the Bible say. You know, if one hand is doing the wrong thing, you should just cut it off.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's true. It's true. Why are we
Yeah.
exposing ourselves to unnecessary danger that is out of our control?
Good advice.
I mean,
Cut
I
it off.
don't blame them. I think most people, when we put a profile on the social media, we are looking for popularity. You know, how many followers you have, how many friends you have, how many likes you have on each post. I mean, both of you are in your 20s. I mean, it is one of the reasons.
Yeah.
You know, so that, and thank God Facebook doesn't give you a dislike. Can you imagine how many people just, if they don't like it, they click the amount of unlike, dislikes. Yeah. It does happen. That's the one reason they don't put it up.
Yeah. And Instagram now, they limit the likes. You don't see number of likes anymore for some accounts. So they're having a change. So you don't see the amount of likes on the post anymore. On my account, it is like that. I'm not sure for everyone else. Yeah.
Oh, I can see mine.
Yeah, mine,
yes.
I can still see who and how many likes.
Yeah.
For me, mine cannot. I think they have having a trial run to they change some of the accounts to hide the function. Only myself only the person who posts can see the amount of likes. So others can't see how many people like that post.
Okay. I should change my account to private now.
Oh, you get hate comments?
No, I don't get any hate comments. Most of the people would just comment, "Oh, you're so nice, you're so pretty." And if I post like any singing videos on Insta or on Facebook, they'll be commenting like, "Oh, you sound so nice," something like that. I don't know. But still, I think putting our account to private is a very good step, because also cutting the risk of like even people like stealing our identity, something like that also, or even like people getting into your account, screenshot, and just do bad stuff, something like that.
I think people can do that. I mean, I have friends whose Facebook accounts are private, and suddenly I got a friend request from them. So those accounts could have been hacked by hackers. But what I think we need to do is to protect ourselves. Like, if you're afraid of people commenting, but if you're looking for comments and likes, then yes, it is going to be a public account already.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Because I've been putting my IG, like my Instagram account, to public for like a long time. Since the first day I started using Instagram. Yeah, okay. I should really put into private. Okay.
I think even you know your own mental health, and if let's say social media is affecting your mental health so much, I think it's a good idea to disconnect. Just get off Facebook, Instagram, or whatever for a while. Even if it's just a week, it's good enough for you to, what we say, recalculate, or recalibrate. Yeah. So and I think about understanding that whatever you put on the internet, you immortalize forever. And is that really, you have constructive opinions to make, then seek the person out privately. If that's not an option, then there's a difference between calling people out constructively and bullying them. The difference is that if you're being constructive, you attack the behavior, while bullying attacks the person. You call them names, you body shame them. You're not effectively dealing with a problem. So I don't know if that can add value to this conversation now.
I mean, it does add value to our conversation. Yeah. So that's it for this session. That's it for this week's episode. Thank you to both of you for joining us this week for this episode. It's really a great pleasure to have both of you to be in this episode.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah. So
all right,
guys,
thank you. No, thank you for having us
on. So guys, if you have any questions, if you want to seek help, you can contact us through our email, and we have our Facebook and Instagram down in the description box below. And if you want to talk more to these two beautiful people, you can also contact through our email, and we can direct all the questions and everything to them. Yeah. And yeah, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to leave any comments, do leave them, and subscribe for more content, and click on the notification bell so that you can be updated when our next video will be up. So that is it. Goodbye, guys.
Bye.